and hear us, and as we may be positioning and relocation and doing some things, where can they find us?
It's simply right here on truthbetold.com. Truthbetold.com. That's where you can see us. That's where you can hear us. That's where you can love us. You can also check us out at truthbetold at Gmail. At YouTube. But truthbetold.com. That's where you're gonna see the show, man. That's where you're gonna find us at.
Yeah, that's truth with an E. That's truth with an E. And the E stands for experience, exposure, and education. But that's only
we
one.
Can even throw in expansion in there. The E stands for expansion as well. Hey, but you know what? Hey, Uncle Michon, I gotta say something real quick. I'm excited today. I'm dancing in the street, brother, because they passed the Emmett Till law. And I'm so excited because it only took them 200 years, Uncle Michon. It only took them 200 years and 200 years of pandering to we're gonna say the black folk. 200 years of pandering to black folk, over 50 years of voting in the 95 percentile Democratic, right? Over 50 years of doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And finally, something happened. Our insanity has finally paid off.
Oh my God! They passed the Emmett Till bill.
Hey, you know what? We're gonna trademark that line you just made. They passed the Emmett Till bill, and then we're gonna go ahead and hit up a rapper, and we're gonna get a rapper to rap about it. The Emmett Till bill, the Emmett Till bill. You know what I mean? And then that way,
as the Emmett Till bill passed. Oh, we happy. Oh, our white people has cared about us. Oh,
there we go. We got some music going there online, and there we go. The Emmett Till bill, the Emmett Till bill.
Hey, listen up, and we're gonna have a fill-in today. Okay, go ahead and talk about who's supposed to be coming on, but Mr. Peter Hayes is gonna be filling in for this portion. But
absolutely, this portion right here, folks, is called Simon Says by Peter Hayes. How you doing there, brother Peter Hayes?
Who's he representing? Go ahead, talk about this.
He's representing brother Simon, Dr. Simon. He's representing him. Dr. Simon fell ill last week after Michon made him sick. And ultimately, he is not on today because Michon made him sick. So, Dr. Simon, we definitely want to send some gracious, prayers out to you to get better. So hopefully he'll be on next week. But right now, for Simon Says, we're gonna have Better Days with Peter Hayes. Come on in, brother Peter.
Better Days with Peter Hayes. You feeling in today?
Yes. I'm glad to be here again, 2 weeks in a row.
So what you going to talk to us about in this spot?
Well, yeah, and we want to thank the American Family Association of Kentucky for being a sponsor. And I'm going to share, stuff about why we are in the mess we are today. Now, a lot of people say it's economy, it's racism, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, in the beginning of time, the Lord had a plan for man. And it was very simple, to create a God-centered family that would create peace in our neighborhoods. And so we talked about it last week. Males and females created an image like this of God. When they come together and centered on God and they make love, they create children that bring blessing into the world. And that's called procreation. We procreate the Lord. Now, what happened in the beginning with Adam and Eve, they fornicated. Fornicated is not centered on true love, but centered on lust, okay? And lust and the devil. And guess what? When people fornicate, any place in the world, you see chaos. It happened in the first family with Cain and Abel. And guess what? America is in a crisis. And the number one issue is, number one, we are not connected to our Creator. That's a vertical relationship. But also, we have way, way, way too many people fornicating and not procreating. So the level of marriage has declined. The rates of children out of wedlock are skyrocketing. So here's some statistics. In 1960, there was 5% of children were born out of wedlock. That's with all ethnicities in America. Well, guess what? Today it's 41% across the board. And the experts will tell you, Joe, your name of your show is The Tipping Point. Well, the tipping point of any society is 40%. When you get to 40% of dysfunction and immorality and family breakdown, you've lost your civilization. So we're at 41%. We're 1%.
And we're talking about as a whole. We're not talking about, just make sure.
As I said, all ethnicities.
Yeah, all ethnicities, not just one. There is an
of what? Unwed, or what does that mean?
Yeah, that means 41% of all children, 41 out of 100 are born out of wedlock, meaning mostly without a father. So we're talking about fatherless homes is by far the number, not only in America, but worldwide. The statistics of any society that gets away from that two-parent, God-centered marriage, all hell breaks loose. And no one's talking about it. Trump and Hillary didn't talk about it. Biden and Trump didn't talk about it. It's amazing that it's the number one issue because all the other dysfunction comes out of that. And yet, we got our heads in our sand.
Peter, I'm glad that you purposely. No, but actually, Joe, you took the words right out of my mouth, man, because I was just about to go there. And one of the biggest things, I need to go here, right here with you. I'm glad that you're talking about this. One of the things that I learned about in the principles, okay, is that when I was studying I call him my spiritual mentor, okay, Reverend Moon, he talks about you can always see or understand whether the devil or evil is working when you see the most persecuted. The thing is the most persecuted. Now, you said the number one thing. Number one thing is the attack on the man in the house and the breakdown of the family. Now, I want you to pause. Now, do you understand what I'm saying? Reverend Moon says a principle of the devil, okay, of evil, is if you want to know what evil is, you want to know where the devil is. If you want to, it's a principle move by evil. The most persecuted thing, when you come under persecution, that's a good thing, okay? But if you don't never recognize you under persecution, you will stay in it. So it requires you to recognize you under persecution so you can fight against it. So the fact that we won't even never acknowledge it, okay, is the reason why it's getting worse. Speak to that, Peter. I mean, you're talking about the family. If we never speak to try to correct putting men back in the position, and that's not just talking about, descendants of American slave men. That's not just talking about, Ukraine men or, we're talking about humanity men, okay? Humanity men, okay? Speak to that, please.
Yeah, I mean, we're all males are created in the image and likeness of God. We have the potential to be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion over the earth. So the number one problem in the world, and I've been in Kenya, Africa, I've been to Israel, I've been to Korea, Japan, the prevalence of immorality, and a lot of it's through our culture. Let's be real.
Right.
If we promote all this mess through our TV, our music, through our drama, well, guess what? Sooner or later, we're brainwashed. We're brainwashed to think that these behaviors of having children out of wedlock, going on government, and here in America, government welfare. Eastern Kentucky has more people on welfare than West Louisville. People got to realize that. So this is not, like you said, an ethnic issue. And so,
well, I mean, it was created for the superiority, the elites anyway. Welfare.
All right. We don't want to get us in trouble, Joe. What he's referring to is that system
of marriage.
No, not the system of marriage. The attack on marriage. Okay. Oh. It systematically has been put in place to separate. It's kind of like I'm a military guy. Okay.
And with what I said, I'm also saying that the media plays it out differently and has people thinking otherwise. You would, if you asked anyone of melanated people or European descent, if you asked either one of them, who's on welfare more in Kentucky, they would say West Louisville. But that's not true, as this European brother just stated, and it's only because people pay too much attention to the media, which, remember, is the same media that told you that UFOs were false and Area 51 was false, and you walk and stand in the line at the grocery store, see those tabloids and say, oh, look at all that fake news. And now, years later, you can pull it up right on the computer and look and see they're admitting that all of that stuff was real. Area 51 is real. So the same people that lied to you before, the same people that, you know, are the truth is coming out about now. Yet, again, people continue to focus on this mainstream media as if it is truth, and it's really a lie, as this gentleman just stated just now.
Yeah, I think this is also a great moment. Okay, and later on we're gonna play that unlearn, relearn segment when my brother Marcus talk about propaganda. We're talking about the propaganda that has been put into our society. You know, I like the part when remember when Ice Cube on Fridays, and they were sitting up there, the two guys sitting there in the no, not Fridays. When they said the shooting took place, okay, all the shooting took place in California, and they went to listen to the news, and nobody reported it, and they said, you know, we talk about fake news was something that, you know, Trump brought up. No, fake news has been going on. We've been knowing fake news has not been reporting our news for the longest. All the shootings that took place in California, in the hood and everything, guess what? It wasn't reported on the media. Nobody even knew about it. I mean, remember
everything that's going on right now is only a surprise because there's so many people that didn't realize it because it wasn't getting reported. You know, so the oblivious world that they lived in was you know, something that was created for them by the fake news. And I think right about now it's time to go to a commercial break, folks. Right now we're gonna play some music, go to commercial, and we'll be right back here on Truth Be Told.
All right.
What's up, folks? This is Mr. Just Ask Joe, and I want to tell you about a quaint little spot called D Nally. Awesome food, great price, 970 South 3rd Street. Remember, D Nally, 970 South 3rd Street. Check them out. Get something good to eat.
There's too many of you. Brother. There's far too many of you die. You know to bring them yesterday. We don't need to you know we got to find a way to bring
I'm looking at the time and saying something about we need to go to a history untold. I think we want to, after that good segment that Peter Hayes just did, we want to go and play that. We got that segment again with propaganda. Okay, I'm gonna play that one again with Marcus and everything. Talking about
Jefferson notes on the state of Virginia. To our reproach, it must be said that though for a century and a half we have had under our eyes the races of black and of red men, they have never yet been viewed by us as subjects of natural history. I advance it, therefore, as a suspicion only that the blacks, whether originally a distinct race or made distinct by time and circumstance, are inferior to the whites in the endowments of both mind and body. It is not against experience to suppose that the different species of the same genus or varieties of the same species may possess different qualifications. Will not a lover of natural history, then, one who views the gradations in all of the races of animals with the eye of philosophy, excuse an effort to keep those in the department of man as distinct as nature has formed them? This unfortunate difference of color and perhaps of faculty is a powerful obstacle to the emancipation of these people. Many of their advocates, while they wish to vindicate the liberty of human nature, are anxious also to preserve its dignity and beauty. Some of these, embarrassed by the question, what further is to be done with them, join themselves in opposition with those who are actuated by sordid and adverse only. Among the Romans, emancipation required but one effort. The slave, when made free, might mix without staining the blood of his master. But with us, a second is necessary, unknown to history. When freed, he is to be removed beyond the reach of mixture.
There, what a piece there. Hey Joe, man, that's too rich to just we that's too rich to just just blow past that and everything. That's some that's hey yeah. Man, I don't even know where to go. It was so rich. Okay, the conversation. I'm really working on trying to staying positive and everything. To me, doesn't mean not speaking about the truth. Okay, staying positive means stay truthful. Okay, and no matter where the truth send you, okay, then it can still be considered positive because it's the truth. Okay, and here's my truth. Okay, unless we address the color issue, unless we willing to engage that there is issues into 21st century, that there's people, until the dominant European culture decide that as a whole that they no longer want to be identified as white, the moment that they can feel embarrassed to all the things that has happened under the word of whiteness, until they can understand that whiteness, the more you say you white, you also see and you identify that what took place under white, you still agree with. That's as simple as that.
We don't call ourselves white. I'm not white.
Okay, yeah. You know what? But Peter just made a very good point. I worked in the dominant European community, okay, as a surgical technologist.
Black people call us white, but we're not white.
And Peter, I'm glad that you just said that. I've actually vouched for that you said. I'm glad that we talked about this because I went to a party. I've been to multiple parties where I'm the only one, I'm the only one in the room, okay, because of my environment that I work at. Do you know color is never talked about? American Europeans, they never walk around. They don't walk around the room talking about we white people. Okay, they say they're Americans, but they don't walk around calling themselves white. Okay, the only time color comes up, okay, is when they in the company of us culturally.
You know why that is? So there was a worldwide global study by Gallup, the big, most famous polling company in the world, and they interviewed people all over the world about racism, and guess what? Two groups came out as the most racist in the world. African Americans were number one, and Japanese were number two. My wife's Japanese. Now, race conscious, that proves the point.
Color construct. Well, and so let's defend that, okay? I'm willing to defend that at 61 years old, okay? I now understand why that's the problem. And I will say that had I not gone in the military, where I was actually sheltered and shielded. Now, Joe, hear what I'm saying. Had I not gone in the military, sheltered and shielded from all, Leonard Walker sent us a, did y'all see what Leonard Walker said? Leonard Walker sent us a rebuttal to us using the N-word in that video being played. Did you read that? No. You there? It's an email. You need to see what Leonard Walker sent. He don't want us to talk about the N-word in the manner that we talked about it last week. He said that video, that cartoon you showed and everything was kind of, it was kind of not right and everything, because we made Ray look like, he just happened to be that way. It's not a condition that he was brought into. So can you speak to that real quick? I mean, I'm about to go somewhere, but last week's show, okay, has stirred up so much and everything. I know we're supposed to be talking about Tiger Woods, but last week's show, and Leonard Walker sent us an email already, okay, talking about the N-word and maybe having Talib being a guest on that show. Did you see that email?
No, I did not see that email. So let's talk about it.
Oh man, Peter.
I don't think the people on the radio saw the email either.
Yeah. Hold on. We got a caller. Okay, let's go ahead and get the caller. I'm always going to the line.
Welcome to the Truth Be Told show. What's going on?
Caller.
Hello, this is Marcus. I was listening to Peter and I felt compelled. I don't normally call, but I felt compelled to call today. Peter said that white people don't call themselves white, that we do. And that goes to show how ingrained being white is. You don't even have to say it. And every government form that I've ever looked at, it says white. So they don't have to do that. So I think that's kind of
very good.
I think that's kind of presumptuous and superiority mindset to say we don't call ourselves that because the system is designed that you don't have to call yourself that. When we talk about it being invisible and we talk about it being systematic, the system has done that for them. And so you're right. They don't go around, and when you go to those places, they're not going to say that because the system does it for them. Look at everything out there that the government puts out.
Yeah, I have never seen a "I'm White and Proud" song.
Right, because the system makes them that way. You look at the form. Most things are done in alphabetical order in the government. So when you look at the form,
I was about to say that most things are done in alphabetical order, but why is it when you look at the government form, forms, W jump from normally it's the second or third.
That's right. That's exactly right. So when someone says to me that they're European and they don't go around saying they're European Americans, the system does it for them every single day and twice on Sunday.
Hey Peter, what's your response?
Well, no, that's a good point. Dr. Jordan Peterson is being touted as the most influential philosopher and teacher and educator in the Western world. He brings up a point very interesting. We call it white privilege or white rule, but it's really majority privilege. Because my wife is from Japan, so when I go there, every society creates it to benefit the hierarchy. So you go to Japan and you're not Japanese, guess what? You're second or third class. You go to Nigeria and you're from Ghana, the majority is supporting Nigerians. Same thing in Mexico. So, I know that we got these hang-ups, the boogeyman, the white man, but the bottom line is it's really majority privilege, and it exists all over the world. If you go to India,
even that idea of majority,
that would be true, Peter.
The majority privilege, when you start thinking about that, you start looking at numbers like real numbers, not the fake numbers where they done told every melanated Middle Eastern to check off white, where they done told the Portuguese Latino community to check off white. When you start peeling that back, the European community is actually more of a minority in America, and I think it's really just a farce when we start talking even my majority privilege. But that just goes to show how great of a salesman America is.
You want me to drop some? Is this the truth be told?
Is this the truth be told?
Can you handle the truth?
Yeah, well, can you handle the truth?
Okay, let me see. if you use skin color to define yourself, you are of the devil, period. Because as Thomas Jefferson said, he said there's different species. He called descendants of American slaves a different species. That's white supremacy. Now, if you say I'm black or I'm white, I'm yellow, you are white supremacist, racist, and that's of the devil.
So, Peter, and what you just said, so when I heard the Nation of Islam call the European culture the devil, they were right.
Well, we're all of fallen.
No, it was, I would have. Well, the Nation of Islam, so when the Nation of Islam, because I used to rebuttal that,
and with what Michon is saying, then what he's saying is, remember, you got to put in context the idea that the European culture is who founded America, right?
Okay.
They used us to build it, and they used us to invent everything, and then they claimed it. But with that in mind, you're talking about, when he's saying that, he talk about the Nation of Islam and pointing, saying what you're talking about, the fact that white people create America, and you just stated, Brother Peter, that you just stated that when you start using color, and that's what is being used all over documentation, is color. The census is color.
I think
and that's an evil system. I'm saying.
So you agreeing that it's an evil system?
We either look at things from God's eyes or the devil. Now, if you want to, hold on. If anyone wants to look at the world from the devil's eyes, call themselves based on skin color, they're of their father, the devil.
Okay, Peter, but we actually agree with you. And so, who's been the dominant European culture that started and implemented color? Who implemented color?
Obviously, most of the power brokers came from Europe.
Okay.
England specifically.
So that means that the Euro-dominated culture took on the spirit of the devil.
Well, it's very complicated. Okay, Cain and Abel. There's two kinds of people.
Peter. Now you want to go to Cain and Abel.
Well, yeah.
The question before you is pretty simple. You stated it was one thing. Now you want to divert from the question because your answer takes you to another place.
Let me answer.
Well, real quick, guys, let's do this. I want to make sure that everybody knows that they can go to afa.org. Right, that's the American Family Association of Kentucky. Again, afa.org. And I want you to know that you can support us by listening to us on Spotify. You can catch the Truth Be Told show on Spotify, folks. So please support the Truth Be Told radio show on Spotify. Also, make sure you go to historyuntold400.org. Again, that's historyuntold400.org, and make a donation of any size. Please Cash App us at $historyuntold400. You can do that too. We take $1 million donations all the time, folks. Haven't gotten any of you to do that yet, but guess what? Negate those Jordans this month and give us $5. We appreciate that. History Untold 400 $sign there. You know how to do the Cash App. And same thing, History Untold Inc. at gmail.com if you're doing PayPal. All right. So History Untold Inc. at gmail.com if you want to do PayPal. We absolutely appreciate that, folks. And right now it's back to the Truth Be Told show.
Hey, we having a very truthful conversation here. It's I love when multiple of us come together. You can only have a real conversation when multiple people come together. If only the left side or just the right
unemotional
side,
people.
You got to have multiple people have a conversation. Hey, we got a caller. Welcome to the Truth Be Told. How do you want to add to this conversation?
Well, first of all, I tried not to get involved in the conversation because I've been finding myself walking along with my mindset. But the thing I would like to add to the conversation is Peter Hayes alluded to something that he didn't really complete, and that was, I thought he was going to the fact that we were all of a fallen state.
Yep.
And I'm saying that to say this, that while everybody's arguing over skin complexion, I got to go back to what Jesus told Nicodemus. You must be born again.
Amen.
You know, because what I see of you is a facade. What we see of each other is a facade. You know, we see something outwardly, but we are not looking at what's going on inward. We want to look at skin color. We don't want to take culture into consideration. But Martin Luther King also made a profound statement that we all have one common denominator, and that is at the end of the day, we're going to lay down and die. So this is what I'm saying, that we have to come out of that old man and go into a new man, which is you must be born again. And I get off, gentlemen. I don't want to take too much of the conversation. But Peter, I wish you would have kept on going to where you were going. Yeah, we all in the fallen state, my brothers. So we got that in common. We need to get out of this state. And thank you so very much.
And you know, I'm glad whenever one of my elders, okay, call in that I can be in agreement with, okay, on things that we're in agreement on, okay. I'm already aware. You know, I'm an agitator. Okay, you know what an agitator is in the washing machine. You know the agitator agitate. The agitated washing machine. You know, it's the agitate to stirs it up. Okay, like to get the dirt and everything. You got stirs it up and everything. See, I already know. And see, Marcus called in very good. See, again, unless you create an environment that everybody can come together, and somebody got to agitate. You know, I asked, how many, Uncle Michons? Is there any Uncle Michons in your life? The father is usually the agitator in the household, and I'm going to here for a reason. The father is normally the agitator in the home. Without the father being the agitator, meaning trying to take care of his family, want to make sure he wash out the dirt that his children and his family trying to go somewhere. Without that agitator, the man, the father in the house, to make sure that his children and his household get clean, okay, they're filth in their life. Peter, I think let's go to what Brother Strong was talking about.
Yeah, we act as if we're pure as, excuse my no pun intended, as the white snow, and all these other people are bad. So yeah, he's right. Every human being from the beginning of our original ancestors is a fallen person. I mean, we take after our false daddy. We lie, we steal, we murder, and that's African people, Asian people, European Americans, Chinese people, and so we can get out of saying, well, my people have been treated word blah blah. You know, all of that doesn't help us. Where do we go forward? The solution is every person listening today, pray and get your vertical relationship with God.
All right.
And then love your neighbor as yourself. That's the solution. And let's move forward. All this mess, devil stuff about what skin color, this skin color, it's a distraction from what we need to do today to live a more godly, fruitful life for all mankind.
All right, and it's always interesting when you hear, and Peter, I'm gonna look you right in the eyes. I work in the dominant European. How many times have I heard that from the dominant European?
It's the truth.
No. Uncle Michon, in order to do what Peter's saying, then we'd have to focus on tearing down the structure that's in place that continues to remind people of that color construct. We got to get rid of that because, as Marcus poignantly pointed out, then you look up any government paperwork or this, that, everything's done in alphabetical order. I'm glad he said that because, he's absolutely right, except when they're asking about your quote unquote race,
cultural identity.
Exactly, your cultural identity. When they're asking about that, white is at the top, and it's amazing when you think about that.
So why is that? This is our government.
You gotta tear that down.
Earth is the greatest country in the world. So Peter, as the official speaker for all white America, the official people on Truth Be Told, answer that question. Why is it on government forms by America that all forms white is first?
Because this nation, and for 500 years, all Americans have been brainwashed by white supremacy teaching. I brought it up last week.
And they're the devil.
And what white? Let's go back because seems like a lot of people say, well, whites are. white supremacy had. We just heard.
But are they the devil?
Hold on, I'm gonna get to
let
it.
him talk, man.
Yeah.
Come on, agitator.
Yeah. Okay. So white supremacy had core teaching. We just heard it from Thomas Jefferson,
Yes.
the truth be told,
Right.
that there's 5 different species. Remember he mentioned species: white, black, red, yellow, brown. And that's a satanic lie. Okay? So the core foundation is a satanic lie, because science tells us that, as I mentioned last week, no 2 humans cannot reproduce. A guy from Nigeria, a gal from Sweden can reproduce. A gal from Brazil and a guy from Pakistan can mate and reproduce. So that's a satanic lie.
Okay.
The second part of white
We can agree.
supremacy is that the white race is superior and the other 4 are heathen.
Right.
So yellow people, red people, brown people, and black people. That's a satanic lie.
And who introduced that?
The devil.
Okay, so okay. So the devil introduced that. Okay.
White supremacy.
Okay, well, all right. Okay.
You know what?
So the nation might have not been wrong.
Since we're talking
No.
since we're talking about lies right now, then let's look at it this way. They said what the mark on Cain or what have you. No, the mark on Cain is something, there's text that gets transcribed and it says, okay, this was a mark that could be seen from far away. Now, if you got a whole group of the original man, melanated people in this hot area of the earth, right? Whole group of original man, melanated people in this hot area of the earth, and you wanted to put a mark on them, you take that melanation off, and he'd be bright white as snow, and you could see him from far away. All these melanated people, and then you see that white man, and now that white man starts having kids, and now you see his bright skin colored people from far away. So when you start talking about lies,
Hold on, Peter. I gotta jump in. I was a child, and I remember watching the movie Laughing. I don't know, man. I may show my age and everything. And I remember Richard Pryor was doing a skit. Okay, he was doing a skit. Okay, he was one of the people with these people that was in Egypt, and they were digging, and they broke into a tomb. Okay, they broke into a tomb. I remember this skit. They broke into a tomb, and Richard Pryor was there with them and everything. And Richard Pryor saw the Egyptian and everything, and it was a melanated person. Okay, and this Egyptian, it is like 400 years, 500. I'm just exaggerating, but it was like they found it and everything. And Richard Pryor said, "Oh my God, black people. Oh my God, black people." And all of a sudden, all the European people started backing up. And he was just cheering up and down. And then they buried him. They closed it up. And Richard Pryor found himself being buried and left there and everything in there because they didn't want that information to come out. Oh my God, Peter! I don't know if you. I remember that as a little kid, and I'm like, "What are they talking about?" Well, basically, the lies that we have always been told is that the blue-eyed Jesus, okay, the white-skinned Jesus, okay. I remember seeing in black churches painted on the walls, okay, the white Jesus, the blue eyes, and everything. So, Peter, when we talk about the N-word, when we talk about the people who's been conditioned to think a certain way, they were conditioned to be that way from a system, okay? So to get them out of it, we gotta attack that, okay? Because the only way they're gonna come out of that is that they gotta feel some liberating that maybe they've been programmed into that condition. So as much as I don't like the N-word, okay, and I don't like using, I won't let it be used in my house, okay, and I will not allow my children to say it, I don't allow people to say it. I can understand why conditioned people say it, because they condition in that. Now, who responsibility to help them come out of it?
I would say, me personally, I have a personal responsibility to reconnect to my Creator and be be a kingdom builder. It comes down to every person.
Everybody. Now, you know what, Peter? Now, that is one thing.
Yeah.
You know what, Peter? That is one of the biggest reasons why we're salt and pepper.
Yep.
Would you agree?
Yep.
You know, Peter Hayes and I introduced ourselves a long time ago as Salt and Pepper. And I remember you brought it to, hey, Nishon, we the Salt and Pepper team. And I said back to Peter, I'm the salt and you're the pepper, okay? And the reason why I said it to him, because you hear me? Joe, how many times you heard me say, I have navigated in the dominant European community? You heard me say it all the time. I'm a surgical technologist, okay? How many surgical technologists do y'all know?
I know two, and they're both of melanated descent, and those are the only two that I know. But I know a lot of doctors and a lot of people in the medical community, but I only know two surgical technologists, and they're melanated.
And I want you to understand, the environment that I have worked in for 45 years of my life, okay, in the operating room, when I first arrived to that operating room, I was the only melanated person standing in the room. I just had an awakening after 30 plus years. I was standing in the operating pool, Peter, and guess what? I was the only melanated person still in the operating room standing by myself. And I realized after 45 years, I'm still the only melanated person standing in the operating room. We got over 100 some people in the operating room, and we had a meeting, and I was standing in the meeting. We was having a meeting, and I was the only melanated brother, and our women brother in the room. And I had a epiphany moment. Okay, woo. We got another call.
That's a strong epiphany, because right now we're about to go to we got a caller? Okay, come on, caller.
Yeah, we got a caller. Call anybody. Hey, always, I love my callers.
I tried to cut this radio program off and walk away, but I can't because you bring up another point. Here's the point. Okay, I was listening when Peter mentioned the N-word last broadcast, and Joe said that might not be permissible with the radio station.
And let me real quick, Strong. Let me context. RG Dale specifically told me that we had to put in write a letter and put it in, and you know, and get clarity and confirmation and all this stuff before. And so that was the only reason why I spoke up about it, because RG Dale. But I guess he picks and chooses how he wants to run things.
Well, I figured that you were going by some guy.
Because I don't care if anybody says it, Peter. You know, anybody. I don't care. As a matter of fact, I prefer all racist Caucasoid people to go ahead and just say it. So I know. I don't like people hiding in the cut. Just say it so I know how to deal with you.
Okay, but see, I'm 74 years old. When I was raised up, the N-word was a household word. I'm talking about, N-word is N-word. So what I would like to say concerning the N-word, it's a highly offensive word.
Yes.
And the thing is when we, the new thing is that, well, anybody can be an N-word. And I say, well, when you talk about the N-word, who is the N-word? Who does that apply to? So the N-word still makes me see red. And I never used the N-word around people of other races. I never did. The N-word was a word that we use among ourselves. And I think that if anybody would be truthful that's my age, know that the N-word was not necessarily a derogatory word, because we get mad at our sister back in my day. And so that's what I want to say concerning the N-word. The N-word, however, the N-word is a highly offensive word, and I have cut down tremendously on using the N-word because I know how offensive it is in this day and time. So thank y'all so very much, and I'm going to try not to call back. Have a great day.
Hey, well, y'all, real quick, we got to go to commercial. It's the Truth Be Told show. And just so you know, when we come back from commercial, we might have a couple more minutes. 502-571-1240 if you want to call in. But right now, we're going to commercials. The Truth Be Told show.
Hey, folks, Mr. Just Ask Joe from the Truth Be Told show. It's historyuntold400.org. Remember, you never know where you're going until you know where you've been. Historyuntold400.org. Check it out.
Thank you, Truth Be Told, for allowing God's Lives Matter to be a sponsor. Wearable product as the purple t-shirt is bearing witness every life created by God has infinite value. This is God's Lives Matter. All right. I am excited about this show. You know, we were going to talk about, and we talked about it a little bit. We talked about Emmett Till, you know, how we should, be concerned about that. But you know what we did talk about, and I got to bring it up before we have any more conversation at this hour where we at right now is what's his name? Mr. Tiger Woods.
Oh,
Tiger
yeah.
Woods.
Hey, we got to give him a big shout out. Tiger Woods been inducted into the Golf Hall of Fame.
Tiger Woods, a melanated brother.
Yep.
The most dominant melanated brother in the game.
You take that T away, you pop in the N, and his name totally changes.
The first in my lifetime, okay, I've seen a melanated brother dominate a European sport from all I've ever known. Peter, keep it 100. As long as I've ever known, golf has been dominated by the dominant European culture of men for as long as I can remember. It's the first time in my life. I'm glad that I got to witness it. I'm so glad I got to see it. Nobody knew. They couldn't hide it. They couldn't deny it. That Tiger Woods was the most melanated brother, dominated brother who dominated the European men in their sport. I'm saying it. I know they don't want to be said like that, but they won't mention it. They won't say it like that. But, it's the Truth Be Told show. We're going to acknowledge it, okay?
Hey, if you ever been on the driving range out here at Shawnee Park and, you done knocked balls from there, well, you look ahead. It's about a football field from the driving range over to that bridge, where 65, I guess, or whatever that is, 264, whatever that is, that bridge there, right? So Tiger Woods done, he done, I believe he's been there, and he's knocked the ball from there and hit that bridge, on the driving range there. So, that boy is bad.
Hey, that boy bad. Okay, hey, we got a caller. Somebody who want to add to the show. Come on. Who's?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Who's this?
This is Kirk Muhammad.
Oh, what's up, Mr. Muhammad? Make sure you leave your information. You a new guest, okay? New caller. Get a T-shirt from me. Come on, what you want to add?
Well, I was just listening to the program, and I was kind of enjoying the program, and I was just trying to put a little twist on the program, because like you said, you sometimes you've been a washing machine that agitate things, So did the most honorable Muhammad. He tried to give us truth, and sometimes people could not accept the truth because we could not recognize the truth. And in the laws of physics, two white folks cannot make nothing black, but you can find white and black folks because we have albino. And what we was taught to us that all nations of people came out of love. And that's not a myth, that's truth. Because as you say, if you do in the laws of physics, colors, black is not a color. Black is the original color. So I'm just trying to make that be aware to your audience that lots of things that have been said of truth, some people just take it as a lie.
And you make sure you call back and you leave your information and everything, because I want to send you, on me, Okay, 100 I am American descendants of slavery. If you're aware or a T-shirt, which one would you like, T-shirt or hat? Brother, because you get a gift from me for calling in.
Well, give me a head. I'm a head person.
All right, then. Well, you make sure you leave your information and everything.
And make sure you check out the truthbetold.com.
And for all those people that my vendor is working overtime, we got a lot of people going to God'sLivesMatter.com and ordering the purple T-shirt and ordering a hat. I want to thank all those people who's been supporting this show and also supporting God's Lives Matter. So for all of you, your gifts are coming. Okay, your gifts are coming. I wish Brother Strong would have said something about that. He got his gift. Okay, he representing and everything. He got his.
See what you did there? You gonna make them call back in. It should be call number 3. But listen, I want to make sure that everybody knows to support us by listening to us on Spotify. Please support the Truth Be Told radio show by going to www.historyuntold400.org and make a donation. Like I said, we take $1,000 donations. We take $1 million donations, either or. And Cash App us at $HistoryUntold400. You want to drop $1? Appreciate it, folks. History Untold 400 at Cash App, and PayPal is historyuntoldinc@gmail.com. historyuntoldinc@gmail.com. Now, one thing we can't let get away from us, Uncle Michon and Better Days with Peter Hayes, is this whole stink, this whole Putin stink that's going on. What's going on with this Putin stink, man? It don't smell too good over there, man. I'm looking at some videos that are saying that the Ukrainian people are happy about what's going on because he's removing a corrupt government in the midst of this war and this stink that he's causing. What y'all think about that?
Well, I'm gonna let our third co-host here today, Better Days with Peter Hayes. I'm gonna let him go there because he wanted to make some comments. He just told me he didn't want to go into Ukraine, and you were right there. So let's go ahead and let Peter Hayes of Better Days go ahead and speak to that.
Yeah, so I've been in that part of the Ukraine. Actually, I've been in the Crimea and Black Sea, and I was there in 1989 when the Soviet Union fell, and so I'm very familiar. I was working with a KGB colonel over there in the camp, so I know
you know
that
what?
part.
White people just, the European descent, they be all over the world, man. They be traveling and everything, man. That Peter has a story for everything. He has been everywhere.
Yes, exactly. So I went there in 1989. So anyway, the history, when the Soviet Union fell, at the time, people don't realize this. In the height of the Cold War, communism controlled 40% of the world's population and 40% of the world's landmass. Well, when the Soviet Union fell, they lost all these countries: Latvia, Estonia, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Ukraine. And so what happened, Putin, who's a KGB colonel, thug, he came into power 20 years ago, and he's still the president. He'll be there for life, just like President Xi, the communist leader in China. Anyway, he said that the greatest mistake in the 20th century was the dissolution of the Soviet Union, meaning they lost all their countries. So he's been planning for 20 years to get back those countries. So 10 years ago, he took back Crimea, which is a warm water port. He's been planning this. He took over Georgia, not Georgia, and Atlanta, Georgia. So this has been his plan. When he sees a weak president, like he did 10 years ago in Barack Obama, he snatched up Crimea. Well, he didn't play around with Trump because he knew Trump would smack him upside the head. As soon as another weak president came in office, Biden, he jumped on it, and he'll go as far as we let him. That's the bottom line on that.
Wow. This is why, let me just keep it 100.
This is why you don't elect Ghost.
Ghost, I like that, Ghost. Hey, I want to definitely the Nation of Islam, brother, they called in and everything. I do want to tie that in with what you just talked about and everything with the Nation of Islam and everything when they have made the statement about, non-melanated people. You notice I've been intentionally not using color. I've been saying non-melanated people might be the devil. Now, a lot of people didn't like when he said he didn't say that. He said white people were the devil. Okay, but I'm I'm going to say what he might have been referring to, and tied in with what you basically saying, the use of color, okay, being used by people to control and dominate people and everything, might have been a tool of the devil, okay?
Oh, absolutely.
And nobody, you know, sometimes we got to have this real conversation. See, you and I can have that real conversation because everybody get too emotional, okay? All emotional, and, you know, and I'm sorry. I mean, I before we close out, I love my brother, okay, and I'm going to say it on there. I love my brother, Dr. Frank Simon, okay? Love you, okay? But you got a little angry at me because I said what I said last week, okay? But I want you to understand, if you loved me, okay, then you would have came back on the air and let's had a conversation about it. You don't decide to just cut me off, okay? I'm just going to keep it up, you know? Cut me off and everything. That's not love, Peter. That's not love. How many times you and I have had knockout, breakout fights? Have we not? I mean, we don't have some, right?
Yep.
I mean, 20 years plus, right?
Yep.
Have we not had some knockouts?
Oh, sure.
And now you have tried to exit on me sometime and everything, and but I always pull you back in, right?
Unfortunately, you do. You're like the Godfather. You keep on dragging me back in.
Hey, he's got to, because salt and pepper's got to, you know, do what it do. It can't do it without the other, right?
Yeah, brother, and you know what?
I'm married to curry, yellow spice, so I got a lot of different spices.
Hey, well, look, real quick before we go, Peter Hayes, didn't you have a donation, something going on real quick before we go?
We'll talk about it next week. How about that?
All right. Well, next week, folks, you heard it right here on the Truth Be Told show. We will see you once again, same place, same time. Remember, if you're checking us out online, Truth Be Told with an E, Truth with an E, truthbetold.com. We will see you next week.
The Truth Be Told.
You've been listening to the Truth Be Told radio show, brought to you by God's Lives Matter and History Untold 400. Join us every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. on 1240 AM WLLP. For more, check out our website at www.truthwithane.com.
Hey, man. Hey, brother. Hey, can you hear me? Uncle Michon. You got to unmute, brother. Uncle Michon. Hey, Uncle Michon. Are you there? Hey, folks, y'all see I'm trying to get him back on. Uncle Michon. Well, I guess, folks, that is it for us today. No after show talk. We will see you next week.
All right, cue the music.
Cue music.
Start the music.
Starting music.
And go. All right, cue the music.
Cue music.
Start the music.
Starting music.
And go.
It's the Truth Be Told show, where we place America first, honoring those who America has forgotten. Listen in and unlearn to relearn as we set the record straight. And now, your host of the Truth Be Told show, Mr. Just Ask Joe and Uncle Michon.